Good afternoon. I will be interviewing President and CEO of the Lingerie Fighting Championships, Shaun Donnelly. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Well, thank you for joining me today for this interview, as many investors and fans are looking forward to learning more about the organization and your future plans.
Okay.
So the first question is, so there was a TV deal with Claxon to broadcast the Lingerie Fighting Championships events in 2020, but obviously because of COVID, these events got canceled. Will Claxon now be will they now be broadcasting the Lingerie Fighting Championship events in 2021? And do you have any plans to expand to popular broadcasting platforms?
Yeah, Klaxon will be carrying all our events this year. We have a number of events planned. We just signed a deal with Film on TV to expand more into the European market. So we're adding cable systems, satellite systems, and networks as quickly as we can.
Okay, thank you. And speaking of TV, there were news of the major motion picture Gladiatrics that they had begun the production of that in the fall of 2019. And can you update us on the current status of that?
We began pre-production back in 2020, or actually 2019. Right now, it's still on hold. We're about 50% funded of what we need to do that project properly. Of course, with it being Gladiatrix being a period piece, it's just not something that can be done cheap. So we're continuing to try to raise the additional money we need to shoot it, and hopeful that within the next year or so we'll have succeeded in that.
Sounds good. Thank you. Um, so the third question, do you think that making the Lingerie Fighting Championships reality TV show only for members is limiting the amount of publicity and public knowledge of this show?
Definitely, we need part of why we did the deal with Film on TV. They're going to be carrying all 9 seasons of the reality series. The reality series had started on Tough TV. Excuse me one second.
Oh, yes.
Had started on Tough TV, and unfortunately they went under. So we've
Mhm.
been, kind of bouncing around looking for a suitable broadcaster for it. So we're excited to be working with Film on TV.
Sounds great. Thank you. Speaking to many fans and future investors, they would like to know, have you given thought about building more character development? Examples as having the competitors on the microphone in character, and this would build storylines and stuff like that.
That's not really how our show works.
Mhm,
Excuse me. We're not like WWE where
mhm,
we have these big characters or fake characters.
mhm.
What you see in LFC, these are the real. That's who they really are. So that's why we do the reality series. We use that so the audience gets to know the characters or the personalities of our fighters. Which we're all about at our events. It's all about the fights themselves. So we don't. You'll notice in our shows we don't spend. There's no one grabbing mics and screaming at each other the way you see at WWE. It's much more UFC based. But of course, we do want the fans to be able to get to know the fighters. So hopefully, as we build out the reality series,
Mhm.
more and more people have the opportunity to do that.
Okay, thank you. Uh, And will we see an increase in merchandise, such as action figures or like workout clothes or like stuff like that?
It's something we're looking at.
Mhm,
It usually comes from partnerships from outside the company. For instance, we just did a deal with a company in Switzerland. We're going to be releasing an LFC branded cannabis pain cream. We have a lot of T-shirts. The problem we have is we have so much cast that it's not economically feasible to have 18 T-shirts of each person in every size, sort of thing. So we did a deal with we work with Teespring, so they have every single fighter established with the league has their own T-shirts, but they're not carried by the company. They're carried by an outside company.
sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you. Um, Speaking of that stuff, what licensing or distribution deals are currently in the works?
We're constantly working on, like you mentioned, we signed with Klaxon, we just signed with Film on TV. We're looking into launching a Roku channel. We have a number of new distributors we just recently started working with, who are, marketing the events and the reality series. So I'm hoping in the next several months we should have a lot of announcements on new platforms carrying LFC.
Okay, thank you for that. This is kind of what you just touched on, but what is the go-to market strategy to get more subscribers and build awareness of this?
Well, you notice us doing a couple things differently with the show. Tuesday we have an event, LFC 31 in Las
Mhm.
Vegas. So we've done that a little differently in that we just launched our own pay-per-view platform. We've always used outside cable systems. Now we're still going to be on all those cable systems. It'll just be a couple months down the road on tape basis. So the only way to see the live is through our site. So which of course is a way to build out our site even further. We offered each fighter 30% of pay-per-view sales, so to get them promoting more.
Mhm.
Uh, and you can't buy the pay-per-view without selecting a fighter to support. So we're doing things like that to kind of build out the site, because I think a lot of what happens with LFC right now is we're getting busier and busier and seeing more and more memberships on
Mhm.
our website. So we want to build that out and then start going to more and more networks.
Okay, that makes sense. Also, the investors were wondering if they could start getting a shareholder newsletters, and that would update them with information such as anticipated milestones in the near future and etc.
We do have something very similar to that, in that any shareholder who's contacted us, with their permission, we put their email address into our contact sheet, and releases are sent. They get them as soon as they come out. Might look at doing a newsletter after, of course, we're swamped with
Yeah.
LFC
Mhm.
31 in a couple days. Once we get back from that, and we're going to be current again soon, so going to be a lot more news coming out just naturally.
Yes. So speaking of current, this was the most asked question. When does the stock plan to get current with their SEC filings?
Well, we're working on it right now. I'm told we should have it. We should be current again within about 30 to 45 days, probably closer to the 30.
Sounds good. And then are you planning on reverse splitting the stock at all in the near future?
We have no plans to do that as of right now. Even when our stock was trading much lower, nearly no bid, for 2 years we didn't do that. So it's not something I'm in favor of. And with our stock price, of course, being higher, there'd be no need for it right now.
Sounds great. And the final question is, when can we expect to see the revenue made off of the upcoming pay-per-view event?
That would be in our, we're going to be current, as I said, in about a month.
Mhm.
So that would be included in the next queue. Sales so far have been going, pay-per-view sales have been going very well. In addition, the number of membership signups has jumped quite noticeably.
Okay, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Shaun Donnelly, and I really appreciate it. And
My pleasure.
have a nice day and good luck with a pay-per-view event.
Thank you very much. Talk to you later.